Hello everybody, Walter here. Welcome to episode 43 of my Oxygen Not Included Let's Play series with the Space Dot DLC. In the previous episode, we more or less finished with the main part of the current mega project, which is the sour gas boiler, with attached petroleum boiler, hot brick for power generation, and a slickster ranch, all in one build. And today I would like to actually hook it up to the base and get it running. So with that said, let's jump back into the game and have a look. And here we are right where we left off last time. Now, I'm currently still waiting on this pump over here to get rid of the steam in this right side of the chamber, which later on will be replaced with the proper carbon dioxide for our slicksters. But in the intermediate time, I might as well connect the system here to the various grids, and I'm going to start with power. So, I'm going to grab myself a power wire, and I have those two here for the various oil wells, and this one here can just go straight up. And yeah, I just would make sure this is all done with the correct priority. Now, that is the power. Now I need liquids, namely I need water and I need an output for the crude oil. So crude oil goes out, water goes in, which means I don't need this here. I actually also don't need this one there. I can also disconnect this one and simplify all of that. Then I have gases. Namely, I have the natural gas, and I also have the need for some oxygen for this one here, which should be connected like so. This one here should also be turned on now, because at some point this here is going to turn very hot as soon as it gets some water. And I think I still have some water in this pipe here. Yeah, I have a decent amount. I might as well make use of that by connecting it. Not like that. You know what? I'm going to keep this pipe here for now and going to connect it up there and drain all of the water out of this pipe at the top there. And now with this oil well here running, it's time to hook up the next couple at the bottom of the base here and further down. So let's start with the power wire again. Just going to grab myself those two wires here, which will have to get bridged. Once the game unfreezes at least. Then this wire here is for the one at the very bottom. Right here. Right, that's a bit too much. This can go. So. Then I also have the wire for this one here. So let's go straight down. And then straight over. And once that is in place, I can get rid of this wire here, which goes all the way to this power transformer here. And the part to the bottom I'll leave as is right now, because I still need this for now. Okay, then next up we have the pipes. So this here is the water pipe, which goes straight down and then in here, which means I also don't need this here anymore. And then in the reverse direction I have the crude oil going straight up. And this one here will be the second crude oil, which will flow. This is not the crude oil, this is the water. I will also need the water, I just remembered, so just going to go straight over here with the water. And is this all ceramic or what? Oh, I made it out of ceramic for some reason. Yeah, isn't really that much of a problem. Anyway, let's see. So this flows up, and this flows up. Then this one here grabs it from over there. Once and that is in place. And for now I'm going to leave this disconnected. I will have at some point to get rid of the petroleum boiler at the bottom, or at least turn it off. But for now I'll leave this disconnected here and there. Yeah, so then we have the gases. So the natural gas flows through here. And then we have our oxygen, which comes from over here. Then let's see. This is already connected. This one here I will have to redirect. First to the left and then through the wall to over there. Then I can get rid of all of these pipes here and simplify all of this quite a bit. And once this water pipe was in place, I could also get rid of the water pipe going in the other direction at the top there. Now, next up, let's have a look at our pump here. Okay, we have a vacuum, and the vacuum, okay, is still working its way up, but this shouldn't take too much longer. So I can already start getting rid of the pump and the corresponding pipe. And I think also a power wire, yeah. And then I can start replacing the part here of the floor I removed earlier. And that looks much better already. Now, let's have a look. Okay, we have a vacuum, so I can really work on starting this up. But before that, I need still to make a few more modifications down here. Namely, I want to have an overflow mechanic down here. Because I am not at the point where I can actually start up the petroleum boiler right now. And I will have an overflow of crude oil pretty soon, so I should have a way to deal with that. So, priority, then second priority, which will make its way all the way to over here. I will also include this one. And I might as well include this one up there. Let's see. Yeah, I can actually go down there. Yeah, that looks good. So I need to connect these. Then bridge down, bridge over, and bridge in the reverse. Let's disconnect here. This pipe is empty now. Then disconnect here. This pipe is empty. Can reconnect there. Those are prioritized. And then I need a bridge ladder to get up. Okay, that is this more or less done. Now, the pipes still need to lead somewhere, so I'm going to connect it there, connect it over here, and disconnect there. This pipe is no longer needed. This is, or was, for the crude oil directly produced, but since this will be a mixed line, I need to sort that one. Now, next on the agenda is dealing with the water. So for that, I'm going to start with connecting the pipes up here and disconnecting there. Then I'm also going to grab myself a bridge and place it here for now, since I'm, for now at least, going to turn off the water from my petroleum generators and going to use my storage system for that. Which means that I actually need to turn this on over here. Then and then full power. So now the water will come through this pipe here. I don't need this pipe down here, so I can turn that back into the storage system by just getting rid of this bridge here. And once that is out of the way, I can get rid of most of this pipe here. Except I'm going to need a little bit of that, since I need to get the water that is not needed right now down here. So for now, let's do it like that. And pretty soon I will get rid of my petroleum generator at the very bottom, or at least turn it off. So this pipe here will dry out pretty soon, I hope. But until then, my tubes should be more or less done with that. And I can already start working on that down here by disconnecting there and reconnecting here, so the crude oil will now find its way up and then over here into my storage system for now. Although I might want to make use of, or start this up already, so I am going to set this here to 10 and speed this up a little bit until we have a couple 100 kilos of crude oil waiting down here and heating up. And once I have that, it shouldn't take too much longer. Yep, that should be enough. I'm going to turn off the liquid valve meter, and we should see this here heating up first turning into petroleum, and once that is petroleum, it should turn into sour gas shortly after. And once I have that sour gas, which is just around the corner... Ah, come on. So the first bits have already transformed. Yeah, you can see the mass is going down. And we have sour gas. Okay. Let's turn this on again, because the sour gas, if we go into gases, is pretty slow at finding its way over. But once the bead pump here starts running, I get immense pressure at the top here very, very quickly. Yeah, you can see the pressure is increasing extremely fast and pressuring down the sour gas until it reaches this chamber down here. And let's once more speed this up a bit. And once it's in this spot here, it should get cooled down, turned into methane, which teleports up into this spot and then boils off into natural gas. And that then later on is pumped into my generators. Okay, that's looking good. Now I can connect the gas bridge here, which transports the natural gas from my oil wells, which is a byproduct of them. Now I'm going to get power, and I'm also going to get some carbon dioxide, which means I can start growing my slicksters, since they now have a food source and won't actually starve, which is what happened to the third slickster that was moved up there before I actually noticed that issue. Okay, so first bits of natural gas are being produced and pumped in. This is all running quite nicely. Pretty soon we should also see the crude oil coming from the top. I can also connect here for the water for the bottom one and let this here fill up properly. The pipes for the water should be already in place. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And means I don't need this pipe here anymore. This is all in place. And this here can get removed, as can this part of the pipe up there. And that looks like the last few drops of petroleum making their way up to the petroleum generators. Let's quickly check. Yeah, the pipes are empty. And of course the pump is overheated because, well, when a petroleum boiler like this here goes cold turkey, the very hot petroleum finds its way to the bottom without any additional cooling and, well, boils the liquid pump. But that isn't much of an issue since, well, we don't need this anymore. So let's get rid of all of the materials I'm no longer in need of, which is all of this here. I also don't need the power anymore. So this can also be removed all the way to the bottom there. Then let's go back to the pipes. So this can go, all of this can go. Then over here, I'm just going to remove the bridge. And then I can remove the other bridges and reconnect without them. Then let's go up here. Let's remove all of that, all of this. Then this is no longer needed. I also don't need this bridge here, and that should be done first actually. Then I don't need the direct line down to the storage here. I also don't need the line up here anymore. I can also get rid of the liquid pump. And I should actually turn on the petroleum generator here so it empties out the pipes. Then I can also get rid of the other generators. Anything else I need to deal with? No gases, but I can also remove those here. And at some point I will have to close off the top again, since now I'm no longer producing any of the carbon dioxide via the petroleum generators. Now the pipe is empty and can get rid of that too. Then let's speed this up a bit. So we can also remove that one. Now I can clear out all of this here. I can also now start removing this pipe. And once it's done its job, I can also remove all of this here and this here and all of this here. You can see I can undo a lot of stuff over here. This is also no longer needed, as is this here, and basically all on this side here is no longer needed. So let's just hope I didn't disconnect any power I still need. So this is still looking good so far. Okay, this can all go. What also should be done now is, I noticed a bit of an issue. I have a constant stream of sulfur now on this conveyor here, and it's completely overwhelming my system, which you can see once the game unfreezes at least. You can see it's backing up a lot, so I'm going to disconnect here. And I'm going to change the connection to the top, and then over here, and then I'm actually going to make use of the space I have for an extra conveyor chute right there, which will go and then up there and connect down here. And obviously I need to actually be able to reach that, or do I want to go through the wall here? Yeah, I'm going to go through the wall. So first down, then over, and then I'm going to switch over there. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And here comes the sulfur. Now, next on the agenda is in dealing with this chamber here, which is getting down under pressure. So first things first, I'll need to close this off at the top there. And once that is done, I can also start opening up the sides. Let's see. Do I... this is still needed, but this can go. And over here, all of this can go. I should also get rid of the liquid naphtha in there. And also someone should come by and get rid of that quickly. But for the most part, we are done in this area here. I'll leave the cooling system in place. The area here is decently warm, so it might be useful later on. Now, next up. Since I now have some more space over here, I would like to add a couple liquid reservoirs. Just so in case my turbines here are off for a little bit longer, I won't run into any issues. And that might actually fit in perfectly. I just need to get rid of a couple ladders in here. So let's remove these ladders, and someone is trapped. Who is trapped? Of course someone is trapped. And that should be done first with the highest priority. Of course my dupes managed to almost kill themselves. Yeah, that is no real surprise. Okay, someone is already on the job. Okay, so anyway, let's clear out all of the debris. So this is closed off. The carbon dioxide is slowly finding its way through my base. This is being filled with oxygen sooner or later and should at some point be breathable again. Okay, that is looking pretty good already. Now, these need to be removed, and then I can put in a bit of a reservoir. But in the intermediate time, I can start cleaning up down here a bit more. So this is very hot, so I'll put a tile here so the steam turbine gets cooled down and can start running again and cooling this down a bit further. Additionally, it might be a good idea to put in a checkpoint somewhere around this area, since sooner or later I will have to get in here. And yeah, this is already pretty cool, so much more cooling I won't be able to get through there. Which reminds me, I need to deal with the cooling loop up here, which is still empty, and yeah, definitely need to do this next. So let's work on the cooling loop. So first of all, let's figure out the direction. So this is going to have to go in this direction. Then I can connect here. I can connect there. And I can disconnect there. Now I should just prioritize all of this here. And then I should also fill the water in. Let's get rid of this bridge. Then I can connect over here. And I can also add another bridge here. Let's go up. So I can squeeze in a bit more water later on. So this can actually be filled properly. Okay, let's make sure we get this cooling loop here filled and running. Just like in this here. And with that, this here should run without any major issues. You might have noticed I made one mini change, which is that I switched around which pipe here has the crude oil and which has the water, which will help in just a little bit. But I have a decent amount of pressure already in here, so I can get rid of the water flow from the top there. It's no longer needed. So I'm just going to turn off this one here and set this to 0 again. And we'll have to wait just a bit until the water here has flown out of the system. But while I'm waiting on that, I can already start putting in a couple liquid reservoirs. So one here, then one there, and yeah, let's go with 5. That sounds like a decent amount. Now for the connections. They are all going to be connected at the top here. And the bottom is already connected via the pipe I have already in place. Then I can disconnect there. And this means that the water will flow in, get stored here, and then will flow out. And only if those here are full, the overflow will find its way towards my storage system. And here we go, everything is now in place and already filling up. As you can see, we are steadily increasing over time. And pretty soon this should fill up completely. Okay, now. One other thing that should have changed in the intermediate time is the temperature down here. Yep, that has heated up quite nicely due to the heat being produced by the sour gas boiler itself. And we are at a temperature where we could think about actually boiling us some petroleum. So I'm going to actually turn this on here and also the output there. And that should be all we need to do. At some point I should potentially consider adding a cooling system to the output, maybe in this kind of area here. But it's not strictly necessary since I do have a dedicated cooling system already in place here for the setup up there. So it may not even be really necessary. Okay, of course this is only really going to start up once we reach the 90% threshold here, except for the very first spot of crude oil which got through the system before it really started up. But besides of that, this is a little bit of a waiting game now, until it's filled up properly. Over here we already have the first few molten slicksters which are directly producing the petroleum instead of crude oil, which is nice to see. Now I am considering getting rid of the slicksters themselves. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to get rid of the slicksters and only have molten slicksters in here. Then I can clean this up and will only have the petroleum in here and no mixture of petroleum and crude oil, which could cause some potential issues later. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Furthermore, a bit further down, I re-added or rebuilt the atmosuit checkpoint here with the 4 check suits or atmosuits, and also put a little bit of petroleum on this ledge here so I can turn this here into a vacuum chamber with liquid lock, and later on then I can very easily get in here and start a proper cleanup. I also changed the settings here so it's always on, so this door here doesn't close and completely boil the petroleum here. I will also have to figure out what I'm going to do with about 6 kilotons of magma later. Now this here is also all cooled down, and I also disconnected it from the cooling loop because I think next episode or so I'm going to actually clean up all of this here at the bottom. And also may have to start working on another asteroid while I'm at it. So, but with that said, I think we have reached a good point to stop with this episode here. This time, after a couple longer episodes, we have a slightly shorter episode. But we now have our sour gas boiler and in theory also the petroleum boiler running. We have basically all of our natural gas generators are running full tilt except for a few I have as emergency overhead at the end there. And producing carbon dioxide, which is currently just piling up here. But once I have all of the molten slicksters in here, I can have this should rectify itself. And I just noticed those actually need to be set to just 8. That could have gone wrong pretty quickly. But as I said, now just waiting until I have a few more slicksters in there, and then I will get a decent amount of additional petroleum just so that. Although I don't really have a big idea what I'm going to do with 8 kilograms or so of petroleum per second. Even with using it for supercoolant and blast shots and similar, is not going to really put a dent into my storage. And that brings us to the actual end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share and comment if you did so. It really helps with the algorithm. Independent of that, I wish you a nice day and well, see you.